I get to learn about communication styles at this point in the Pathways journey. And I took the little test, you take a little test, and it tells you, you answer all these questions, and it comes back with the grade of what you got. And there's like 4 different things you can have as your style. And my style ended up being direct. I got a 6 on that, and the rest of them were like 2s and 1s. So, direct. Me, direct, right? So I've handed out what they say about direct. This style is decisive. It's competitive. And today I'm glad, no, I'm not glad, because I don't get to compete with anyone, and so that this ribbon I'm going to get is not going to mean as much. Independent. I was the first child of 3, 2 younger sisters. I was always by myself. I've been independent from the beginning. So I guess it got me there. And confident. Confident. You know, I think about some stories in my life, and one of them that comes to mind, my mom always liked to talk about, was we were in 4-H. And I would do all these different projects. And you'd take these projects to the fair, and you'd have to demonstrate your project. And there would be an interviewer there that would talk to you about what it was. And most kids, 9 or 10, they're like, but I'm just like chatting it up with him and talking and just having a great old time. I was just full of confidence from the beginning. I don't know why. Probably stupid. Didn't have enough sense to be fearful. Next it says, because the person with a direct communication style is focused, and I thought, focused? Huh, am I focused? And then I remembered when I was a kid in 2nd grade. And the bell would ring, and the kids would line up, and they would go into the school building, and I'd still be in the sandbox, playing in the sand. And eventually I'd go, huh, sure is quiet. And then I'd realize what had happened, and I'd have to go and come to the classroom late. So, yeah, I'm probably pretty focused. Next is results-oriented and ambitious. I have a story to tell about being ambitious. When I was in college, I was pretty ambitious. I really liked playing games, and I would play racquetball with my friends. And playing racquetball is a pretty fast-paced sport, and you're really at it, and you're sweating it up. And I wasn't good enough to really always be a great challenge, but because I was just so intense on winning, I'd be fairly challenging to my friends as I played. But then I began to realize I didn't like losing. And I really wasn't having that much fun doing racquetball. And I thought, well, this isn't right. Somehow I've got to figure out how to just have more fun. And so I stopped caring whether I won. I would just made that decision because I'm decisive, and I would just go ahead and say, I'm just not going to care. And I'd go in there, and then I wasn't competitive at all. I was just goofing off. And then my friends didn't have any fun. So I found that it was very tough to come up with this idea that you actually care about the other person and what they're doing more than yourself, but you still care about winning. That was the secret I finally figured out about trying to be a good sport, is care more about the other person and be excited for them when they win than about myself losing, but still want to win. Kind of a tough thing to learn how to do. It says here that others may perceive me as strong-willed and demanding. I've got another story to tell about that. I had a coworker here at work, and I was the lead on the team, and I was surprised one day when they took me aside and they called me a bully. They actually thought I was a bully. I had been so direct in my communication and so focused on what I was supposed to do and so decisive that I wasn't giving them air to breathe and make their own choices on the team. And I was pretty grumpy at the time because I was frustrated. I think that's another thing that comes up later. So So I had to take stock of that and go, wow, I'm not coming across the way I thought I was coming across. This directness that I have in my communication needs to be tempered a little bit. So thank goodness for those 2s and 1s I got on my test the other day. I'm working on that, I think. And he can be seen as impatient when bored. Reminds me of another story. One of my coworkers was a contractor, and he loved to talk. And he would come to my desk, and he would sit down and start talking about the work that had to be done and what we were doing and how we were doing it, and then the stuff that is happening at his home and everything else. 45 minutes later, I'm getting a little nervous. I'm getting impatient, and I'm getting bored, and I'm looking at my watch, and I'm looking at my screen, trying to give him hints, and he doesn't take any of them. And then I began to realize God had put him in my life so I would begin to just take it a little easier. I was just way too focused. Well, it says here that he likes to feel in control and may become frustrated if dependent upon others. He measures progress and achievements and success and is motivated by challenges. Well, you don't know, I have 2 full-time jobs, and just to make it more interesting, at the beginning of the year, I went in and took the lead in a musical. That really made things exciting. So it's not hard to imagine that his fast pace and decisiveness, he likes a busy, efficient, structured, and formal environment. In fact, I was so busy in college, one friend said, "This is Ken. I have 5 minutes to be happy." So, in summary, I have a very direct communication style that I am trying to learn how to weave into other communication styles and begin to get better at adapting my communication style when it's necessary. I'm trying to add a little bit more humor into my direct communication style. And I love Toastmasters because it helps me do that well. Thank you.